Chapter 3. This is a story that I wrote. It's called The Lost Hotel. And this one here is really kind of interesting. It's called The Lost Town.
The Lost Hotel Chapter 3. The Lost Town Part 1. Copyright John R. Rowland 3, November 29th, 2014. Jack, me. Jane, wife. Joe, guy at front desk. Betty, owner. Manny, owner's husband. Hank, teaching science in the local college. Sally, female bear. Moose, male bear. Sid Banderade, owner of the Lost Town. Mac, maintenance man. Anne Harrington, she lives in the old house out back of the old Diane. Chapter 3, The Lost Town. We come here every year to see how things are going on, and this year was the third year we are coming here. The first time we got here we was lost and found this place. The second time we found tracks and found out that the bear people lived in the old fallout shelter entrance. What will we find this year? We got there and things have not changed much. They still had the monitors on and everyone can see the bear people coming and going. I said to one behind the counter, "So what is new this year?" The one behind the counter said, "Would you like a room?" I said, "Is the owner around?" He said the owner went to town to get food today. I said, "Well, I would like my old room 235. He said, "Wow, those rooms we do not rent." I said, "I know the owner always give me that room because I remodeled it when I first come here 2 years ago." The guy just looked at me and then said, "And then you must be Jack." I said, "Yes, I am." And then he said, "I have heard so much about you. You were the one that found the bear people and set things up for them in the fallout shelter in the back." I am the one that set that all up. He reached over and gave me the key for my room and I said, "Thank you, when she gets back I will talk to her then." He said okay, and we went to our room and got things taken care of. It was not long before there was a knock on the door, and it was the owner, and it said, "Well, it has been a long time since I have seen you." She said, "We need to talk." I said, "Come in and sit down." She said, "We have a problem and I don't know how to solve it." I said, "Okay, what is it?" "More and more people are coming here saying that there is a lost town here someplace and they all want to find it." I said, "Wow, when we follow the bear family we come to an empty town up north from here. I wonder if that is the one everyone is looking for." She said it might be. "Tomorrow I will take someone from here with me and we will go and see if we can find it again." She said, "Okay, you can take the kid behind the counter you talked today." I said, "Okay, when you can have him come to my room and then we can talk." She said, "It is really good to see both of you here again. You can have this room for free as long as you want to stay." I said, "Thank you. I will put a note on this room that from now on is your room and your room only." I said, "Thank you very much." She got up and left, and I said to the wife, "What you think about all the stuff that is going on here now?" She just looked at me and said, "I am going to the pool and take a swim." I said, "That sounds like a good idea." We both got ready and went to the pool, and there was so many people there we could not even get close to it. I said, "I guess we will have to wait until later to go for a swim." She said, "I guess so." We went back and changed and headed for the dinner. When we got there it seemed like that was almost full too. One of the waitresses come up and said, "Hi Jack, and follow me." We followed her and she sat us down in the back and then said, "What would you like today?" I said what I wanted and the wife ordered too. The waitress said, "We will have that right out, Jack." I just looked at her and said, "I don't remember you though." The waitress said, "I see you last year too. I have been here ever since you reopened this place up." I said okay, and then she said, "I am the owner's daughter." I said, "No way. You look all grown up now." She said, "For the last 2 years I have grown 3 inches." I said, "That is why I did not recognize you." She said, "That why?" As she walked away, "Be right back." I said okay. She was not gone long and she brought a boy with her and she said, "This is my little brother." I said, "No way." He come over and said, "Glad to see you, Jack. It has been over a year since I have seen you." I said, "In a year's time you have grown a lot too." He said, "I have grown almost 2 inches this year." Wow, I said, time flies when you get older. They both left and it was not long before she brought our food. We sat and ate and talked some, and when we got done I said, "Okay, now what?" The wife just looked at me and said, "Let's go and see how the bear people are doing." I said okay, and we walked to the fallout shelter and sat and watched them for a while, and I said, "Wow, they seem to have got older too." I see the girl and her brother was there, and then there was 2 more come into the room and sat down and said, "Mom, with this for supper?" I said, "Well, they have 2 kids now. I guess time flies." My wife just looked at me and stared into the room. We just sat there and watched for a while, and then I said, "Okay, I am heading back to our room," and she said, "Okay, I will be there in a little while." I said okay, and I got up and went to our room and watched TV for a while. She was gone for a long time, and then finally she showed up, and when she walked into the door she said the kids we see was not theirs. They are their sister and brother. I think their mom sent them here to protect them from harm. Now that you said that, it makes sense that their mom would send them here. It is better for them here than to be there where she is in Bear Town. I said, "Do you want to go with me in the morning to find the lost town?" She said, "No way, I am staying here and getting some rest and go and watch the bears most of the day." I said, "Okay, that is up to you." We went to bed and it seemed like morning was really quick, and I am still tired. I think I will sleep in today. I went back to bed and fell asleep right away, and then there was a knock on the door, and it was the boy at the deck when we checked in. He said, "I heard you wanted to see me." I said, "Yes. Last night is when I wanted to see you so we could set up a time to go today." He said, "Okay, I am ready to go now." I said, "Okay, let me get ready and we will go." It did not take me long to get ready, and I said, "Okay, have to get something to eat and then we can go." He said okay, and we walked to the dinner and ordered lunch. After we got done eating I said, "Okay, let's go and see if we can find the lost town." He said, "Okay, let's go, go, go." We went out and got into the old 4x4 Jeep we used around here the last time we were here. It started right up and the gas tank was full. We headed out and up north. I said it is a long way from here to get to the lost town. The reason everyone called it the lost town because it was hard to find and very few know where it was. It used to be an old mining camp. Ever since the mine run out of coal, everyone just left there and moved on. Some stayed on for some years, but over time everyone either died off or left. I said, "I did not get your name." He said, "My name is Joe and it is on my name tag too." I said, "I am sorry, I did not see it." I looked and there was no name tag on his shirt now. Joe looked and then he said, "I guess I lost it today. It was on this shirt. That is why I asked what your name was." Joe said, "Okay, so how far are we from the lost town?" I said, "We're almost there now, and keep an eye out for a big sign that says bridge out." We went, it seemed like a long way, when Joe said, "There's a sign up ahead that says bridge out." I said, "That is the road we want." Joe said, "But the bridge is out." I said that was so no one would go down that road to the lost town. It is at the end of this road. Joe said, "But what about the bridge?" I said there was no bridge to the town, but there is one down the road a ways from the town. He said, "Okay, then let's go." It did not take long until we got to the lost town, and when we got into the middle of town I see smoke coming from one of the old shacks. As we were pulling up, an old man come out and said, "Who are you and why are you here?" We got out of the truck and walked up to him, and then I said, "We are here to check out the lost town to see who is here and what is going on with the town." He said, "I am the only one here left and it is not long that I will be gone too." I said, "What is your name and do you own the entire town?" He looked at me and said slowly, "My name is Sid Banderaid. I come here in the 40s to mine for coal and we found gold. Then the word got out and there was people coming from everywhere staking claims here. Then the gold run out and so did everyone else. Some still show up but we told them the gold run out and they went on their way. Over time I was the only one left and I bought their claim before they left. Some left and said no way, I am not going to sell my claim. Then they left. Little did they know that if they did not pay their land taxes I would own it anyway. I was the mayor, sheriff, land office, and whatever else was needed around here. Jim said, so do you want to buy the lost town? I said, just joking, how much? Jim looked at me and said jokingly, you give me $100 I will sell you the whole town. I always carry 500 around all the time anyway. I said okay, but I will give you $300 for it right now. Jim said okay, follow me and I will give you the deed to the whole town right now. Everything in town and everything in it, all the buildings. There are markers and a fence line around the city that I own. It took me almost 3 months to get it, so I know where the line was. There are some small land pieces outside of the city and you can have them too. They are marked with signs and a fence around them too. He finished the paperwork and I give him the money and he was all happy. This is the most money I have seen all my life. I said, wow, I guess that makes you rich then. I said, you can stay here and take care of the place for me. Jim said, okay, when will you be back? I said, in a couple days we will be back to stay for a little while to help you out here to get some things down I want to do. Jim said, can you bring some bread and anything for food when you come back? I said, we will bring some food when we come back in 2 days, okay? Jim shook my hand and passed me the deed to all the land here. I said to Joe, let's go home. Joe said okay and headed to the truck. We turned around and left there and it took a while to get back to the Lost Hotel, and when we got there it was getting late, so we went in and got something to eat, and then I headed to the room and sat down and said to Jane, I just bought the whole town. The lost town we own now. In the morning I want to head to town and file the papers with the town office so that way no one can claim the lost town for themselves. Jane just looked at me like I was crazy. She said, no way, how much did you pay for the whole town? I said, you would never guess what I paid for the whole town. She said, 10,000 for the whole town. I said, not even close. He wanted only $100 and I gave him 300 for it. I have the title in my hand that says we are the owners of the lost town. She grabbed it and said, wow, it looks real too. Well, we will see if when we go to town tomorrow and file it we will really see if it is real or not. I was restless all night long and just could not wait until I could get to town to see if this deed was real. We got up and just headed to town and we went into the deed office and I said, I have bought some land and want to file the deed here. The guy behind the counter said okay. I passed him the deed and he said, wow, I have not seen this guy for a long time. He used to come in here at last once a month to file for more claims he had bought. I guess he had bought all the land up there back then. Then he said, I see you bought all the land in the town for only 300.00. I said, yes, I did. The guy behind the counter said there are back taxes on the land he did not tell you about. And it is quite a lot too. That is why he wanted to sell it so he would not have to pay the back taxes. The new owner would have to pay them. I said, okay, how much are they? He said, just about what you paid for the place would have paid the taxes for all those years. He said the taxes that are due right now is 276.34 cents. I said, do you take a debit card? He said, we sure do. I said, okay, I will pay them. Every year we tried to auction off the lost town but no one would even make a bid on it, so we could not even sell it at tax sale. I said, wow. He took the debit card and the deed and he come back in about 10 minutes later and said, everything is in your name now. You own the lost town. I said, okay. How much will the taxes be next year? He said, from now on the yearly taxes will be $23.00. I said, okay. When can I pay the taxes for the next 5 years? He said when the paperwork is finalized we will send you the new tax bill anyway. He said okay. We left and went to get some stuff at the store and headed back to the Lost Hotel. When we got back, Joe was at the front desk and said, "Well, how did it go?" I said we had to pay the back taxes on the place and file at the office. It is all done and we now own the Lost Town. Joe just looked at me and then said, "I hope you are going to take me with you tomorrow." I said, "Do you have the day off?" Joe said, "I have the next 3 days off and I would not miss this." I said okay. After lunch we can go and get the truck and go back to town and get some things to take with us when we go back to the Lost Town. I could see he was all excited with all the stuff going on. After lunch we headed back to town to get some things we would need and some canned goods and bread and what we know that we did not have put in a fridge. The wife said, "I am staying here and you guys can go on the expedition if you want to. I am staying here and taking a swim." I said okay hun, we will head out in the morning to go to the Lost Town and it might be 2 or 3 days before we get back here. She said that it is okay, you two have fun. She said, "I am going to the dinner and get something to eat now." I said we will be back later and we can have dinner together. She said okay, talk to you later. We got into the truck and headed to town. The first place we stopped at was the food store and got some stuff there, and then we went to the lumber yard and I got some nails and a hammer and a handsaw and some other things we would need. Then we headed to the land office and when we come in the guy said everything is okay. We filed the paperwork with the main office and it went right through. The land had been on the books for so long that when they see it come through, that was the first thing they did was to put it through. You are now all set. Everything is paid for and now you are the only owner of all the land up there. Then he said, by the map you own about 100 miles square. The real acreage is about 956 acres up there. The reason the taxes are so cheap up there is because no one wants to live up there and there are no jobs or anything there. It is just mainly land and more trees and more trees. I said, "Thank you," and we left and went back to the Lost Hotel. I went out back and parked the truck inside of the garage for the night and locked it up. We got back at the right time. It was dinner time and I headed for the dinner. I got there and my wife was already there and it seemed like she has already ordered and eating. I said okay, now I can order. She said, "I have already ordered and when they see you here they will fix it and bring it to you." I said okay, and so what have you been up to today? She said, "Well, I went swimming some and read some and walked around some and then went and checked on the bears and they seemed like they were fine and they were sleeping. So I went for another walk down to the bridge you guys built and it seems like it is holding up really good. I see 10 cars and trucks go over it while I was there. Then I come back here and order dinner. So there was not much to do here today. Most of people that were here for the weekend have left now." I said everything is taken care of and we own the land up there. Come to find out we own 965 acres up there and the little town and the mine. She said, "Wow, that much land up there." I said, "Yup, we own it all. I think we even own where the Bear family lives too. I plan to go up there tomorrow and check everything out. Do you want to go this time?" She just looked at me and said, "Is there a real bathroom up there with running water?" I said, "No, there is not. All I see was outhouses and old rundown shacks." She said, "Okay, that means I don't want to go until you get things fixed and working up there. I am staying here." I said, "That is fine." Just then the waiter come over and sat my plate down and wow, they have all the food I like and it is on one plate. I said, "Thanks, honey." She said, "You are welcome." We sat and ate and did not say much. We got done and she said, "Let's go for a walk. I want to show you something." I said okay. We walked toward our room and then she turned left and took me down this long hall and we turned right this time. We went to the end of that hall and she stopped at room number 1156 and opened the door. She said I was walking around and found this room open and look at all this stuff in here. I said it looks like some of the stuff that was missing a long time ago isn't here. The room was not locked. She said no it is not. I said okay let us go. We was walking down the hall when Joe come by and said hi, and it seemed like he opened the door to that room and went in. We just keep walking and we headed to the front desk and asked for the owner to come out. It did not take long when she come to the front desk and I said we have to talk. She said follow me. We went into her office and I said has there been some stuff missing in the hotel for a long time? She said we have had some stuff missing sometimes but we thought it was the people that come here and taken some of it home. That happens all the time. I said I think I know where most of it is. My wife stumbled onto a room with a lot of stuff in it and we think it might be the stuff you are missing. She said who is it and where is it? I said we think it is Joe and what room is he in? She said he is in room 212 and been there ever since he has been here. Well we found him going to the room we had just come from and the room number was 1156 at the very end of the building. She said that would explain why it took him so long to go on a break. Some things would be missing and then it would take some time before he would come back from his break. We checked his room and all the rooms all the employees live in and we never could find anything. She said thank you and you can go back to your room now. We got up and went back to our room and watched TV for a while and went to bed. I woke up to a knock on the door and it was Joe and he said are you ready to go yet? I said I will be in the dinner in about 20 minutes okay meet me there. Joe said okay and left. I got dressed and called down to the front desk and said call the owner and tell her Joe will be in the dinner in 20 minutes. She said okay. I hung up and said to Jane what I want you to do is get someone from maintenance and go to the room and wait until we get there okay. Jane said okay and we both left. I met Joe in the dinner and we ordered some lunch. When we got done eating I said I have got some stuff I have to fix in room 1156 and I need your help fixing it. Joe said I can take care of it and then we can go. I said the sink needs to be fixed and rest of the bathroom needs to be checked. Joe said I will take care of it and you don't have to go okay. You wait right here and I will be back in a little while okay. I said okay and he was on his way rather quickly. It was not long when my wife and the maintenance man come back and said he confessed to taking all of it and in hopes someday take it someplace and sell it. I said well I guess he is not going with me today. I said what is your name? He said Mac and then I said how would you like to go with me today? He said where to? I said well I cannot tell you as of yet but I will talk to the owner if you want to go with me today. Mac said okay I'd like to go on adventures. I said that is good because it is going to be a good one. We went back to my room and I called and she said it was okay he can go with you and you can use him as long as you would like. I said thank you. So I said okay well let's go and get out of here. We went to the dinner and I ordered some sandwiches to take with us. I said okay let us go. He followed me to the back garage and I opened it up and he said we are going to take the old 4x4 pickup today. I said where we have to go this is the only thing that will make it there. He said okay where are we going? I said we are going about 20 miles north of here. He said that is the direction of the lost town. I said have you been there before? He said I have been there many times to go fishing. The old man there charges for fishing spots up there. I said really? How long has the old man been up there? He said as long as I can remember he has been there. He was still there when everyone else left. I said I have been there only once and in town only once too. We are going there today to go through all the buildings and everything in the town there. He said why would you want to know what is there? I said I might be interested in buying the place. He said the old guy tries to sell the place every time we go up there. We just don't take him at his word because we don't think that he really owns it. I think he don't own it now either. But I think he still lives there and takes care of the place. We did not say much the rest of the trip. We got into town and the old man come out and said who are you? I said hey said I brought some stuff for you. Sid just looked at me and said, "Is that you, Jack?" I said, "Yes, it is." I said I would be back in 2 days. Sid said, "I guess it has been 2 days. There has not been much going on here since you have been gone." I got some things out from the back of the truck and gave to him, and he said, "Okay, finally got some bread and some canned goods finally. I am going to eat good tonight." Sid said, "You're going to be here now for 2 or 3 days now?" I said, "We plan to be here for a while so you can show us around." Sid said, "You two go and look around and don't go into the old shacks because all the floors are bad. You can open the door and look in, but don't go in, okay?" I said okay and headed out, and I started on one side of the street and opened all the doors to all the old shacks, and it seemed like some of the wood would hold you to step on, but I did not take any chances. I counted the shacks from one end to the other. There were 45 old shacks on side and 48 on the other. Then I went out back of them all, and it seemed like there was back doors to all of them out back. I went up to some of them and opened the door and looked in, and it seemed like it was a different house. I come out front and went and honked the horn, and Sid come out, and I followed him to his home, and we sat and talked for quite some time. Then Mac come in and said, "It seems like all the building are empty and really needin' much of repair." Sid said all the downtown shacks needs to be tore down and put up new buildings. All the wood in them are so old that the wood has turned into soft paper. "So what is your plans on this town now, Jack?" I said, "Well, I don't really know. I have some money, but not enough to rebuild the town back so anyone can really live here for a long time. You are just making it here, and there is not much food up here, and the river is a long way down to have running water." Sid said upstream about 1,000 feet the river is ground level. I said, "It is why it goes down so far by the town. The water is going into the mine now, that is why the mine was closed down. The river moved over here and we just could not move it back to where it used to be. So we had to shut down, and everyone left within a week's time. Within a month's time I was pretty much the only one left. There were all kinds of water but no mine. That means no money coming in to buy anything or even a way to go and get it. All the main wagons and horses were gone when everyone left. I used to go to town when I could. The old horse and wagon wore out over time, and the horse died, and then it was really hard to get to town to really get many supplies. I was going to go and buy an old horse one time, but they wanted more money than I had. So that was out. So over time I started growing all the food I needed, and when I wanted some fresh meat I used to go hunting. I still needed something, so I would look for gold, and I would find some once in a while, and then I would go to town and get some stuff I needed. One time I found someone that would deliver some stuff to me, and on the way here I got robbed, and the guy I think was in on it. So when I got here I still had nothing, and I spent all the money getting the stuff I needed, and all the gold was gone too. Over the years it has been very hard to live up here, but I had no other place to go. So I just stayed here." I said, "Is there any other buildings beside the ones here in town?" Sid said, "There are some out of town a little ways. It used to be the only inn. It is not very good though. About 10 years ago the roof fell in, and from then on it did not take long before the rest of it fell in. There is a small building out back that is still there. We can check it out after I eat, okay?" I said okay, and I went outside so Sid could eat. It was not long when Sid come out and said, "Okay, let's take a walk." I said to Max, "Stay here, watch the truck, okay?" Max said okay. Then me and Sid went toward the old inn. When we got there I guess the old inn had fallen and there was not much left of it. We walked out back and it seemed like the little house was in good shape outside. We went up to the door and it was locked. I knocked and someone come to the door. She was a little old lady, and she said, "Who are you and what do you want from me here?" I said, "My name is Jack and this is Sid from town." She said, "I have seen Sid around here, but I don't remember you here." Sid said, "I don't remember seeing you around here." She said, "I don't go to town there is nothing there any longer I want. I am the one that owned the INN and all the land around here." Sid said, "I have some bad news for you. You never come to town and never paid your taxes, so your property was sold at auction about 20 years ago. Ever since then the town has owned it, and up until now I have owned it, and I sold everything to Jack now, and he is the new owner of all of the land and building around here now. She said, no way. Why did you not come and tell me my taxes were due and I would have come and paid them? Sid said, we just never come out here because the old inn had caved in and we did not see the house out back. We only realized that there was a house out back when we come today to look at the old inn. She said, now that is a bummer. She looked at me and said, do I have to move now? I said, no, we can work something out so you can stay here. We do plan on putting a little store here so anyone that needs stuff can buy it at the store. We just have to find a place to set up one. She said the first building on the left coming into town is still in good shape. So go and check it out to see if that building would work. I said, thank you, and what is your name? She said, it is Ann Harrington, and I have been here ever since the mine opened and then got flooded out and then everyone left. Right after that I closed the inn down and just stayed to myself out back here ever since. I said, do you know of anyone else that has stayed here over the years? She said, not that I have seen. The only one I have seen was Sid roaming around some, but he never come out back of the inn, and that is why he never know that I was here. Plus I am not here much anymore. I got to town a lot and stay there most of the time. I work in town, so I only come out here on the weekends anyway. I said, really? I started to walk around to the other side of the house, and she said, go back to where you two come from. I just keep on walking, and when I got to the front of the house there was a car sitting there and the main road was just down the driveway. I said, wow, how long have you known that Sid lived back there with nothing and always hungry, and you never took anything out to him to eat? She said, I thought that he know all he had to do was walk over here and I would have taken him to town to get food. I said, did you ever go over and ask him? She said, no, why? I said that would have been the only reason he would have known is if you would have told him. I said, did you ever think to check to see if taxes were owed in town? Have you ever checked out to see if any taxes were due at all for this land and house and old Diane? She said, no, I thought that nothing was due because there was no one in town to collect them. I did not do the big town and tried to pay them, but all they said was you have to go to the lost town and pay them. I went there only one time and found no one, so I just never went back. Well, I guess you don't have to worry about paying any taxes now because I have bought all of the land around here. That would include all the land you used to own. That is house and all. I guess you are kind of in a bind now. I said to Sid, I want you to write something up to evict her and only give her 10 days to vacate the property. She said, well, what if I do not go? I said, Sid, the mayor, sheriff, and judge of the town. Would you like to spend some time in jail for trespassing? In 10 days, if you are still here, we will be back to haul you to jail and spend 10 days in jail, and then we will throw all your stuff on the lawn and hope it rains and it all gets wet. She said, okay, how much will it cost me to rent the house? I said, well, I don't know at this time. I have to look to see what the going rent is up here and I will have to get back to you. She said, okay, I will give you $300.00 a month for the land and house. I said, this sounds fair, and go to town and give it to Sid and he will give it to me, okay? She said, okay, and then we left. When we come back into town, Max said, there is someone here to see you too. I said, okay, where are they? Max said, I sent them into Sid's office. I said, okay, and we headed that way. We got there and he said, who is Jack? I said, I am. He said, I hear you bought all the land up here and I am interested in buying some of it. I said, what part of the land do you want? He said, I want to rent the whole side of town and I will tear it all down and rebuild. I said, well, we used to get $12.00 a month for each place and there are just about 50 places on that side of town. So for $2,000.00 a month you can lease the land on that side of town. He just looked at me in disbelief. I would have gave you $4,000 a month for it. I said, nope, that is all I want right now. He said, okay. Then I said, write up the lease for 2 years and we will renew the lease then, and at that time we will see if the price goes up then or not. He said, where do I sign so I can start construction? Sid went to the cabinet and pulled out an old piece of paper and it looked like a contract. Sid said, this is our standard lease for one of the stores, but I can change it to include all the stores on that side of town. I said, okay, let's do it. He made the changes and he read it and then he passed me a check for the whole year. I said, okay, thank you, and he went on his way. Sid just looked at me and said, wow, maybe I sold it too soon. I said, the only way they even know of this place is because everyone is talking about the new owner of the lost town. Before then it did not even exist on any map. I said to Sid, now I guess you can work for me now and I can pay you too. I will send you some help and I want to set up a small store here in town even if we have to build one. When we talked to ANN, she said the first building on the right as you come into town is still in good shape because that was the last one built and it would make a good store. I said, let's go and check it out. The guy rented the whole left side and we wanted to keep the right side anyway. We went down to the store and went in and the floor seemed to be good and everything in it could be used as part of the store. I said, okay, this will do and now I can afford to buy some supplies to sell here. Sid said, I guess I can run it for you, I am going to be here anyway. Next chapter, setting up the town and getting ready to open for fishing season and other things we can do here. Written by John Rulin III. Copyright December 6, 2014. Other books. The Ship Inside the Mountain Called Life Force. The Changers. The Wish Newspaper. The Lost Hotel.
Until next time.